And we just want to welcome everybody. And Mamacita, if that's okay, so I'll just kind of read off our bios for the panelists, the presenters, then you'll be able to go in, and I think we can give chance the opportunity to go ahead and present because I've not heard back from Elizabeth at the moment. So I will, however, take a moment to just share with you Elizabeth Lai's bio. Elizabeth Lai is the founder and director of Power of Humanity Consulting Incorporated. And for the past 20 years, she has specialized in the area of diversity, inclusion, and hate or bias prior to launching her own consulting business. Elizabeth worked in law enforcement, criminal justice, education, and was the lead diversity inclusion facilitator with the Calgary Police Services. She has developed, coordinated, and facilitated award-winning, internationally recognized programs for schools and communities that address issues surrounding hate, bias, and its impact. Elizabeth has worked with youth in the school system for over 25 years. The programs she has developed have been popular and are in high demand with both the public, separate, and private school district. Elizabeth has also worked with Fort McMurray School District and has traveled as far north as Hay River, Northwest Territories, delivering workshops to students and staff. Her passion and commitment to address discrimination and combat hate, racism, and bullying keep her on the move. She has the ability to connect and engage with audience whilst creating safe and interactive learning experience. Often compared with energy in motion, Elizabeth is not only a dynamic facilitator, but truly an ally to all. For almost a decade, Elizabeth has been teaching personal safety, self-defense, and is certified conflict resolution and de-escalation, keeping the members of our community safe while providing skills to enhance confidence and build self-esteem is something Ms. Lai prioritizes and is the focus of her current work. She has a Bachelor's of Arts degree from Mount St. Vincent University and has continued to gain expertise and stay current in her field, obtaining certificates from Mount Royal University and the National Multicultural Institute in the United States. Our second presenter is Chance Foukx, and she's joining us all the way from Johannesburg, South Africa. She is an executive assistant and dedicated volunteer at a charity focusing on combating gender-based violence and empowering women. In her own words, she says, I am driven by a passion for creating positive change with a strong background in advocacy and activism. I have committed my time and skills to supporting survivors and promoting gender equality. Through my work, I strive to amplify the voices of marginalized communities and challenge the harmful social norms. She's proud to be part of an organization that shares her values and is dedicated to creating a safer and more equitable world for all. Together, we can make a difference and uplift each other. On a social media handle, you find her under Princess, PRINCEZZ_Chance, which is CHARNZ. So we welcome you. And she needs no introduction. She's already introduced herself. I know her to Maria. She is Mamacita, but her real name is Monica Arango. And she wears so many hats. She's not only a mom, a grandma, but she's a serial entrepreneur, a real estate realtor, I should say. Is that correct, Mamacita? And boost your potential coach. And most of all, she's a chief advocate for equity for women, and not only just women, but families. And Mamacita, like she said, she originally is from Colombia, but one of the passions, a firm Christian and a woman of God. I needed to mention that. And she believes in a value system that sees and everyone as equals, first before God and all. Monica has never ceased to amaze me. She's savvy. She is a great listener, compassionate, a champion of fairness and great love. At any given time, we've seen Monica spread her compassion and being selfless to bring change amongst men, boys, women, and girls, because she believes that we are all equal and are created equal. So I introduce to you the moderator, who's also my partner in crime, Monica Arango. And as the moderator, I'll double check again for you, Mamacita. I still don't see Elizabeth on there. So with your permission, we're gonna go ahead and let Chance present, and then you'll be able to take up the questions that you may have for her. So Chance, take it away. I don't want to strain Mamacita's voice. I kind of felt there's a bit of a strain there, but I hope that's
Thank you
okay. I
so
know.
much.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you to everyone that's joined so far. I'm happy to be part of this organization. Do mind me if I get a little bit emotional. This is very dear to my heart. So let me just share my screen with you. Can everyone see my screen? Hello?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so fight or flight mode and navigating the aftermath. The fight or flight response is a natural and instinctive survival mechanism. It prepares us to face immediate threats. So I'm sure each and every one of us has experienced a moment in time where we've had to either protect ourselves or just to put ourselves in a safer way so that we don't get approached by someone that's obviously tried something with us. And this presentation that I've put together will explore the fight or flight response, its effects on our bodies, and how to navigate the aftermath. We always focus on the issues that we go through, the trauma that we deal with, but nobody talks about the aftermath and having to navigate life after an incident takes place, or how our mental health or our brains are affected by this, until you really sit and you have a discussion with someone and you realize that you have so much that you need to get rid of given what you've gone through. So first of all, I'd like to show us, sorry about that, understanding the fight or flight response. The stress response, it's an instinctive response that each of us have when we perceive to feel threatened or not safe, or when we feel a certain level of fear, and it's designed to keep us safe. The brain's role triggers the release of hormones, including adrenaline and cortisol, preparing the body for action. So automatically our brains are preparing us to allow us to fight this. And the physiological changes that we see is your heart rate increases, your breathing either goes really fast or it goes slow, your muscles become tense, your blood flow either flows really high or it flows really low. And that's the aspect that I feel I've also experienced, where you automatically decline and you go into a safe zone. The role of the amygdala in the brain. The amygdala is a small shaped almond structure in the brain that plays a vital role in processing emotions, especially fear and anxiety. It receives sensory input from the senses such as sight, sound, and smell, and evaluates the potential threat. If the amygdala detects a threat, it triggers the fight or flight response, sending signals to the body to prepare for immediate action. This allows us to go into survival mode immediately and react quicker to the danger that we're facing. The physiological effects of the fight or flight mode. Your fight or flight response triggers a cascade of physiological changes. Your heart rate increases, your breathing becomes faster, and your muscles tense up. Your body prioritizes immediate survival, diverting your blood flow to the most crucial areas. The heightened state of alertness prepares you to confront or flee, which is one of the things that we all do. We either face it or we let it go. The purpose of the natural defense mechanism, survival. Fight or flight is a natural defense mechanism developed over time to protect humans from danger. The protection aspect of it is your response allows for a rapid escape from danger, increasing the likelihood of survival during dangerous situations. The adaptation, our body is designed beautifully by God, and we have the ability to respond to stress in its natural and biological process, as well as designed to keep us safe in situations like this. Harnessing your defense systems, recognizing your triggers. So this basically goes into understanding what situation is making you feel this way. Are you in a space, or you traveling in an Uber and you feeling that you're not safe at this moment and that people have made you feel uncomfortable, whether it's a man, a group of men, or it's a family member. So this allows you to activate your fight or flight mode, and understanding these triggers help you prepare for potential stress and prevent escalation. So you are able to navigate through the system and the situation without having to let it go wrong or let it go right. Practicing mindfulness, engage in mindful techniques such as deep breathing, meditation, calming yourself, counting to 10. This helps you regulate your nervous system and develop a sense of calm, even during challenging situations. So I found for myself that if I'm in a situation where I don't feel safe or somebody has triggered me, I would backtrack and count to 10, and I would find that automatically calms my system and I feel a little bit more at ease. Building healthy coping mechanisms and strategies. Develop healthy ways to manage your stress, such as exercise, journaling, spending time in nature, grounding yourself, spending time outdoors. I know a lot of us work from home and we don't have the ability to go to the office. So that is a stress on its own. So it's always better if we ground ourselves, we meditate, we listen to music, we dance it off. This also helps us navigate through the pain and the fear that we have in situations where we've gone through a stressful moment, a stressful time, a trigger where you've gone through abuse. So there's always the healthy way of doing it. And a lot of us get caught up in dealing with these situations by relapsing onto drugs and alcohol, or just finding a way to not sit with ourselves and to allow ourselves to actually feel and understand the emotions that we face, especially after a traumatic situation. Breathing techniques to manage stress responses. Breathing exercises are a key way and key part of managing stress responses. These techniques are designed to slow down your heart and help your body relax, especially in the moment. Diaphragmatic breathing. Focus on deep belly breaths. So breathe straight from your stomach, hold it in for as long as you possibly can, and let it go. Release. Box breathing, inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and repeat this until you feel that your body is calm, that your body is okay, and that you've released the stress that you're currently facing. Alternate nostril breathing. Inhale through one nostril, exhale through the other. I find this a little bit difficult. So I think everyone should find something that's suitable for them. We always told do this and do this, but I think it goes without saying that each of us need to, when faced with a situation, find what's the easiest for us and how we can navigate through that situation, because what could work for me wouldn't work for the next person. Self-defense strategies for empowerment. Physical self-defense. Learning your basic self-defense techniques can also give you a sense of confidence and control. So we feel that the moment we're a little bit more confident, we'll be able to understand and show people that we're not approachable, or we feel that we're comfortable enough to say no. As many a times I'm still faced with situations where I try and just be friendly to avoid having the matter escalated or going through a stressful time where I could end up being another victim. These techniques also include blocking and striking, which can help you defend yourself in physical confrontations, which as women, we really should not be having to deal with. We should be protected and we should be respected above everything else. Where if we say no, we shouldn't have to challenge the person, knowing full well that men are physically stronger than us. And that is why it's really important that you find ways to practice boxing, to practice physical activities that strengthen you as a woman to be able to handle situations like this. Verbal self-defense and verbal de-escalation can be crucial and can assist with potential aggressors. And I know a lot of times we try and we don't raise our voice because we fear of what is going to take place next. But sometimes that is the only thing that will work. But it's always a good idea for you to verbally express yourself. Say no, get louder if you have to, and always just back yourself and try and have people see and acknowledge that you are being confronted. Practice asserting yourself clearly and confidently while setting boundaries. So one of the ways you can do this before you're confronted with a situation would be in the mirror. Get firm with yourself, say no to yourself, stand firm on what you are saying, and this will come naturally. So when you're faced with situations like this, you won't have the fear and the doubt that you won't be able to get yourself out by using your voice. Recognizing triggers and avoiding escalation. Mindfulness. Pay attention to your thoughts and feelings. Identify your patterns and triggers. So pay attention to your thoughts and feelings. They will not guide you wrong. And emotions demand to be felt. So we need to acknowledge these when they come up so that we are able to deal with them in a better way than just losing ourselves into anger, into disastrous moments where we can't de-escalate the situation. Deep breathing. Practice deep, slow breaths and calm your nervous system. Always try, even if you're sitting at work, watching a movie, having an activity, doing whatever you can, try and practice your breathing as often as possible. This definitely assists you when dealing with confrontal situations. Communication, express your needs clearly, listen actively to others. So don't just listen to respond, listen, understand, and then respond. Developing resilience in the aftermath. And this is something I think all women that have gone through situations or are faced with, that we need to focus on this, because we tend to just box everything away as we need to go on, we need to carry on with life. Life demands us to be a mom, to be a wife, to be a career-orientated woman. We have demanding schedules as it is. So try and prioritize yourself Prioritize your rest, your relaxation, and healthy habits. Take up gym if you can. If you can't afford to do that, go for a walk. It doesn't cost anything. Put on a meditation, clear your mind, and definitely engage in group activities and alone that promote your well-being, that will elevate you to a better version of yourself. Cognitive restructuring. Challenge negative thoughts and replace them with more realistic and positive perspectives. We all faced and challenged with the negative mindset and that we can't do this. I'm a woman. I'm not able to do this. No one's going to listen to me. My voice is not heard. And we need to change that and demand it within ourselves so that the next person will be able to, because it all starts within. It starts with us. If we can do it for ourselves, the next person might not, but they will see that we as a person will be able to do this. Support networks. Reach out to your trusted friends, family, mental health, your psychologist, your psychiatrist, a therapist, somebody that can support you through your journey, somebody that can listen to you and give you the guidance that you really need from a higher aspect. As much as friends and family can assist, a therapist will be able to dive into things in a deeper way, help you to deal with the bottom effect of it, the underlying trigger that you don't want to deal with when you're speaking to your family or your friends. Because I know for certain there's certain times where I'm afraid to say things because I don't want them to think that I'm a weak woman and that I'm sad and that me crying is going to affect my relationship with them. So I think every woman deserves to have a therapist, somebody that she can work through her trauma with. And this will obviously elevate into every other aspect of your life. Mindfulness and acceptance. Practice your mindfulness techniques to cultivate awareness, acceptance of challenging emotions. As much as we think that we tend to understand our emotions and that we've got it all under control, there's days where you don't understand where the anger is coming from, where your pain is coming from, what triggered it. And I think we all need to pay attention to that, because there is underlying matters that maybe we've had and experienced in our childhood years, in our teenage life, maybe in our young adult life, and even as an older adult. We tend to just brush everything away. But when you learn to sit with yourself and you learn to journal and you learn to write and you learn to just let go of what you are feeling, you'll be able to practice your techniques and let go so that this does not take space. Because I, for one, have experienced that where I've allowed my emotions to just be boxed in, and then one day it explodes because I bumped my toe on something, and it was an array of emotions that needed to come out. Gradual exposure. Slowly re-engage with activities and situations that were previously avoided to rebuild your confidence. So I've been a victim of GBV and I've been a victim of rape. And I knew it took me years for me to come back into society or even consider coming out to events or a bar or social with family or friends. And that needs to be done at a sooner time. So while you're healing and while you're dealing with the issues that you have from the situation, try and re-engage yourself and try and just allow yourself, even if it's just for an hour at a time, just put yourself out there and be open to the idea that you are able to heal, you're able to confront your issues, you confront your fears, your self-doubts, and know that the pain that you are feeling, other people cannot see it and you're not going to be judged. So don't judge yourself. Don't look down on yourself, and just allow yourself to take up space in this world, regardless of what has happened to you. you are victorious. You are able to come out stronger. You are able to be a better woman. What has happened to you is not who you are. You are bigger than that. And I think as women, we tend to forget that we are not able to come back from what has happened to us or surpass the trauma. And we feel that that's going to be us for the rest of our lives. We should all come together, have a voice like we are currently, and stand strong and stand firm and realize that we are valuable and that we need to take up space in this world. And lastly, to finish it off, understanding your body. Understand your body and how it reacts to different kinds of stress and which ways would work better for you to manage your reactions. If it means that you need to cut certain things out of your life to be a better human being and to be a healed version, do that. But always, always listen to your body. Your body will always tell you what it needs. Practice relaxation techniques, breathing exercises, meditation, yoga, walking, running. These are all wonderful for you and they calm your nervous system. I cannot tell you how many times I've sat down and meditated, and eventually it comes where you just are at peace and you're able to let go. You're able to just calm your body. You have to make that decision that you are stronger than what has happened to you. Seek support. I cannot tell you this enough. Seek your support. Go to your friends, go to your family, go to a therapist. Find people that are your tribe. Find an organization that will listen to you, that will help you, that will hold your hand and go forward in life and teach you to navigate through that pain and just allow yourself to heal. Be kind to yourself. Show up for yourself in many ways that you wish people would show up for you. And lastly, build resilience. Do not allow yourself to become a victim, become a victor. Stand strong. Use what has happened to you to make you better, to be a blessing to yourself. Allow yourself to just know that you are stronger than this. I still have very difficult days, but it doesn't stop me from going forward. It allows me to continuously show up, to open myself to listening to all these wonderful women. And I think that if we continue the support group, in many ways, we'll be able to heal one another. We'll be able to hold one another and we'll be able to create a safer space for women who don't have safe spaces in this world. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening. It's been wonderful.
Thank you. No, thank you to you. It's
Thank you so much.
amazing presentation. And
Thank you.
sorry that I'm doing different things at the same time. And sometimes
No, it's
I'm already old. Anyway, so is my understanding that is, in addition, is fly, um, run, or the other one is to freeze.
yes.
So in the situation that you freeze, because so many of us, and mostly in a stress situation, what do you think that the people can do?
Look, I've always tried to read a room and to try and read the situation. If I'm able to run, I will run. If I have to freeze, I do freeze. And I use my voice as best as I can. I think it's very challenging when you're faced with someone that's larger than you, someone that's stronger than you. You try and you talk it through, but if you can't, use your voice, scream. I'm sure there are people that will listen and people that will assist you. And if you can't, always try and carry a self-defense tool, a pepper spray, a pocket knife, something that you can use as a weapon to protect yourself.
Yeah, that is in some situations, and we know, and probably Uncle Charles in his group, he has people who has been in this kind of dangerous situation. And I'm going to tell you a history, small history, it's not a big deal, but it's the importance to know ourselves and our reaction and
Yes.
plan according with that. Way, way long time ago, when I used to live in Colombia and I used to go to the university, as so many of you have been hear about Medellin in the 80s, it was interesting per se. And I have a small address, something in gold that my dad gave it to me with my letter. And I said, well, okay, I could have used it, but if somebody tried to steal it from me, I just give it away. And that was my mindset. Happened. Myself, because I didn't know at that time a lot about myself, did the wrong thing. I ran to the guy to try to get that. And sometimes that is the problem, that we don't know when
Yes.
adrenaline is coming up, when all the chemicals in our brain coming up, when we don't know who we are and how we're going to react. Yes, we can try the techniques, but one of the most important things is to know how we react and how that.
Yes.
What do you think about them?
But that's the thing why I constantly reiterated sitting with yourself and meditating, because the more that you are able to sit by yourself, you are able to understand yourself, because you cannot expect the next person to understand you unless you understand yourself. So I've gone through situations, and how I would react now is very different to how I used to react. I would always confront issues. I would always confront a fight. I would always go into defense mode when my friends got into fights or situations that cost me. And I would always challenge them. But then I've realized, at what cost am I challenging this person? Because at one moment you can have a gun held to your head, and then what do? Do you still continue to challenge this person, or do you submit and say, okay, you can have what you need?
Yeah, that is a ways, and that is why each one of us has to start to looking for what is my trick, knowing
Yes.
that you talk about it, and talking about that. What is the way that the techniques or something? Because remember that some of these women, so men, so people who is under stress, they may be in an open space, but as we have been talking with Uncle Charles, they are in the far away places. And we have, because it's statistically, the gender base is huge in more away places than in the city. Because in the city, well, you have so many people and you can address things. But for those people that are out there, that they don't have nobody to hear them, they are in the rural areas. What do you think that we can do?
I think we need to create more awareness. I think we need to really go into the rural areas across the world and teach women and teach men, because let's be honest, men are victims too. And I believe that we have to, if we have the capabilities and we have the tools and the resources to be able to assist people, we should go, instead of just focusing on the city people, we need to go into the areas where there are no voices. Let's be honest, the rural areas do not have voices. Their voices are not taken seriously. If they report things, it's never taken seriously. You constantly having to fight the system. So we as organizations, we as the Hope for Her Global, should also look at assisting those people, assisting them to have a voice, because there's so much people that just don't go heard because they've challenged the system and they've never won. You go to the police and then you get asked, but what did you do? What did you wear? Why did you wear shorts? Why did you put yourself in that situation? Why is it that women are always looked at as the aggressor instead of the victim? If I speak to a woman, she's not going to say to me, but you wore a dress. Why did you wear a dress? Why is it in a man's mindset that they have to question the woman as to what she did first to obtain and receive the punishment that she has? So I think it's very important that we as women need to focus and assist the sisters and the women and the children that don't have the voice. We need to go and be a voice to the voiceless. We need to stand firm for the people that don't have the resources, that don't or have never been taught about them being able to say no. In rural parts of South Africa and rural parts of Africa, there is a thing where you're still fighting to say no to your husband or your partner, or you are told that as a man, he's entitled to take what he wants. I was in a marriage where I was told that my husband will have to take what he wants, regardless of whether or not I want to say no. I don't think that that is right. Why are we teaching men that they can do this? Why are we teaching men that they can take whatever they want at what cost to women? And let's be honest, rural places do not have the education system. They do not have the backing of the government and the backing of communities to be able to understand that it is our right as a woman to say no. Regardless of where you are in the world, we need to raise the voice for women and tell them that you are able to say no. And that there is no repercussions to your actions because you said no.
Yeah, but it's what you just said. That is right. It's an education, and not only education of
Yes.
women, but education as well of men. And Uncle Charles was asking us to that because he has an input, and I think it's really important to hear from them. Go ahead, Uncle Charles.
I really want to appreciate our sister. I think she has mentioned quite a number of things that are happening in the rurals and as against urban areas. Because in the rurals, actually, what matters is how are people sensitized? And in many cases, you will find people concentrate in towns and they don't know much about the rural. So getting these people sensitized to understand what my sister has been talking about is very, very important. And some cases, we might be talking as if they are far. I have had an instance myself in my old age. When I was a young man, I used to date another lady. And when I married, this lady got married also. And she went when she was pregnant of my child. And she never shared with me, but where she went, they started mistreating the girl, particularly the husband. So after some times, this lady, the mother of my child, now died. And then the lady got married. I didn't know anything about it. And where she got married, the husband again died. So she came looking for me as the father. I can tell you it was really a hassle because me, I didn't know her. And when I went to pick my wife, getting back at home, I found this lady in the house. So I looked at it and I thought she was a visitor to my wife. So I told my wife, oh, there's a visitor here, so you need to take care of her. And it was in the evening. So she disclosed the matter to my wife, that the one I want to see is Charles Okwemba. So I told my wife, okay, you come along with her in the sitting room. So when we were there, I had my last born there and my wife there, and the girl discloses, I was looking for you for the 43 years because I have had frustration in life. So my wife asked her, 43 years, where have you been that now you are looking for your father? And because we are Christians, we controlled ourselves. And one thing that my sister shared is breathing in, because it was a shock to me. So I breathed in and out. And then my wife, can you hear that? So my wife said, okay, if he is your daughter, then you see how to disclose to your other children and receive her. So it was a challenge for me even to break the news to my children, but I got bold enough. I breathed in again. And as a man, sometimes I can tell you we are very weak. When it comes to family, men who are really gender-based, guys, they are weak in their houses. So I had to share. And I told my wife, if this lady has such problems, right now, she never went to school. That is the unfortunate thing that the mother did. But now the mother is not there, and the husband is not there, and she has children. So I had to talk to my wife to see how to handle the case. So we had to accept that this lady be in her home, but then we come in and stand in as parents. But we had to include our children so that they come together and be prayed for before all the legal aspects are taken. So I just wanted to concur with my sister and say, even men, they have challenges. They have challenges, and when it gets to that, if you don't handle it with God's guidance, that will be a very serious gender-based violence. So I just want to educate men also to be sober, so that when such cases come, you need to understand how to handle them. Otherwise, I want to concur with my sister also. In the rurals, there are a lot of challenges, including even to break news. Yesterday, I had even to forward a picture to my sister Maria, where a lady killed the husband. So these cases, they are not just against women, but right now they are rampant on men. But when men are involved in these issues of sensitization and advocacy, then they will understand where they go wrong and they will support the community. So we are together in this fight, and we are continuing with you. Yesterday, I had even 2 cases. One, I referred where the husband beats the wife every night. He comes in the house around 2 o'clock in the night. He doesn't eat the food the wife has cooked. And then he settles on beating her. So this lady was telling me the last born, a son, came in and told the father, you cannot continue doing this. So sort of the father listened, because some times ago they lost a son. So this is the only son in the home. So there are quite a number of scenarios that we can learn from each other. And I've really, really appreciated the sharing of my sister. Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle Charles, to open, and it's realities. And that is one of the things that we have to consider, the day to day. And I appreciate it, Uncle Charles, that you can open the mic and share with us. And when we are in a stress situation, as we have been talking today, it's important to have that team. I gonna share with you guys from the Canadian, or actually the Alberta, kind of tools. It's important to have tools that we really can use. So, because you can or cannot be in that situation of stress, and you are gonna helping probably somebody, or at least start for this. Start listening to this person, what this person has to say. Believe what they are saying, because one of the problems that we have in the fight with the gender-based violence is that in some places, they don't believe the person that is going through the stress. Let them know that it was not their fault, because the guiltiness and what the society tells them is that what you were saying, that it was because how you were dressing, that is because how it has to be, that you cannot do nothing else. Ask this person how you can help her, him. And way, way important, because we are advocating and we try to solve the problem for this person. We are not. They are the one who take the decision. I'm a realtor, and the things that we do as a realtors when we are selling houses is to give people tools to decide. But always, always, always is this person who has to take the decision. Same when we are talking with the people who is in this kind of situation. They are the only ones who can take a decision. We, and lastly, but not least, we can provide resources. And if you are the one, and everything here is the website where you can find this information. Is really, really important information. And I didn't want to leave today without sharing this, mostly because here is two things. Yes, you can learn how to defend. And again, here as a realtors, we are in a dangerous situation sometimes because you are going by yourself with somebody that you don't know. And it was this year, because they always bring different trainers for us to learn how to defend. But this year I learned something important. And I am talking with everybody here that can be in any situation of stress. And sometimes we come with the solutions for a problem. One of the best ways to defend yourself is keep the distance, that we're learning to keep the distance in the COVID time. Those 4 feet that you can have is what are gonna be able for you to run. The best thing that you can do is to try to defend yourself mostly because you can have all the ways of defense, but you don't know if that person has an arm, how strong, or what kind of defense, or what kind of tricks this person has. So one of the most important tools that you out there can have is keep the distance. Don't allow, because those 4 feet are gonna give you a way to go away. But if you are closer, or you lose this distance, this person can overcome you. They have been teaching us how to kick, how to even use your nails. Nails are a good tool. How to punch the eye, but the best tool is to run. The second is to have that team. The third is to talk. And we as an advocate is to listen. What that person is coming from, what that person's situation, special situation is. Because this person is coming from a stress. Sometimes they cannot breathe. They don't have time to breathe. They are recovering for the last night, as Uncle Charles was saying. They are recovering they don't have what to eat. And if it's a physical, it will be easier. But if this is a situation that is more emotional, and this perpetrator know that this person is going away, it's going to be physical. And this person needs to have a team. They cannot do it at once. They need to prepare themselves, know themselves. What is the real situation? And the only thing that we can do is to provide tools for this person in those decisions. I want to hear from everybody. What do you think about this? Maria?
I have men here who wants to
Oh, okay.
Okay, Charlie.
I'll let the men speak, and then that way, that's fine. Go ahead, Uncle Charles.
Okay, my name is Christopher, and I want to talk something concerning the SGBV, especially on men and on girls and women. Exactly what happens in the rural. Now, when the survivor is already offended by gender-based, the perpetrator comes out with his people. He rushes to the police station, trying to cover the information that is linking to the accused person. So what happens, by the time they record the statement to the police now, since they have been bribed, they look for weaker points, which can now weaken the case. And for example, by weakening the case, they know once somebody has been raped, it should not take too long before appearing with the police. It should not take about 24 hours, less than 24 hours to see the doctor, so that doctor's report will now be an evidence to the court that this person has been raped. So they challenge that person. They say, okay, you go home. Can you come tomorrow around afternoon? That's the time now we shall now consider your report. So by the time they do that, they know now the evidence is now thrown out. And the truth of the matter is that this person has been offended. So by the time they take that perpetrator to the police station, they lack evidence. And the truth of the matter is that this person has been victimized. So My point was, I don't know if it could be possible for us to fight this gender-based from the village. If we could have a front desk in every village with an agent of gender-based violence. So the moment the victim appears, this person should now accompany the person who has been victimized to the police station with a file to find out why has it happened this way, and they will follow that up to the end to find out and see that the case has already been taken to the court. Because now I understand judiciary has put up a gender-based justice court. So this person agent will now make sure that the report that is coming from the ground has gone up to the end. So my advocacy is that it could have been possible if we could have a front desk to each and every village, so that when somebody has been victimized, we start now following. She has somebody to follow. Otherwise, the police officers plus the guys who will now bribe these people, they will now mess up with the evidence. Then we shall now go and blame the magistrate that this person has been released and the judges were not doing their work accordingly. But the bitter truth is that this person, the evidence was spoiled before. So my appeal was that is it possible if we could have somebody to be in the village who can now represent the victim person, so that they make sure she has a witness, the case has been followed very properly to the end. Because this perpetrator, once he's released, he comes back to the village and he will repeat the same thing to another fellow. So that was my take. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and that is the community. Uncle Charles, you're gonna say something else?
I want to, my name is Henry, and it is true, these things happen here in a local community. But then there is the one thing I've noticed, that once somebody has had that kind of problem, this thing can become public. And so these people get shy, and they become a laughing stock to in the community. So that's why most people in our community will want to just hide or not talk about it and look for another way so that it does not come to the public. But I feel it could be good if our community could have some counselors, could have people specialized who could be talking to them, so that these people would be free to air out or to say exactly what is happening to them. And that may also help to reduce this kind of activity or this kind of thing going on in our community.
Can I raise a point with regards to that?
Go ahead.
So I think that also goes down to basic education. It goes down to your morals and your standards that you taught at home, as well as when the police and the government employ people. It's a trend in South Africa as well, that when a woman goes to a police station, she's not made to feel safe. When she goes for the rape kit, majority of the time they lose the rape kit. It's shown that there's really no seriousness of a situation like this. You know, I'll refer back to the previous government of South Africa. There was a serious uphold against rapists, against that sort of situation, gender-based violence. Like there was repercussions for the people that came into the criminal side of life. And I think we need to stand firm, and we need to create that voice and show that these people that have no voice, that they can still face the community, but that goes down to, it goes down to your education, it goes down to the mindset, it goes down to how are we going to treat. So if we are part of that community that is laughing and mocking a rape victim, what is wrong with us? So we need to stand up against that and teach people and show them that the way we've been taught is wrong. This is what we should be doing. We should be supporting, because you can put the counselor in the community, you can put the doctor in the community, but unless we teach people and we show them that the way they are doing things is incorrect, we are going to constantly have a backlash from them. We're going to have a push-pull from them. We're never going to be able to stand against a system if we're not teaching people that what we've been taught is incorrect.
I agree with you.
Yes, but
I think we really need to stand for the rural communities and teach them that the way we do things is wrong. The fact that a woman is raped or a man is raped, we should never look at it as we need to make fun of this person now, because if it was my daughter, if it was my son that was the victim, I would expect support. I would expect someone to stand up and stand up against the justice system and fight tooth and nail. There's so many true stories that I've watched where women have gone and challenged the justice system alone because the community didn't want to get into trouble. They didn't want to stand against the police. They didn't want to get into trouble. But I think we've become so complacent as a society, and we've become so indifferent that we are just letting things be. Okay, so this is what happens, but we don't stand against what's wrong. We have to, especially as women. We need to support the rape victims, the GBV victims, and show them that we stand with them, that we hold them and we hold space for them. Because if we don't do that, then what are we having organizations for? We need to be able to show people that regardless of who stands with us, that we are going to challenge the system, that we are going to go against everything that we have been taught, and that regardless if we have 1,001 person, we have nobody behind us, but we have ourselves. We have everything that we need. For men such as yourself, Uncle Charles, for you to be vulnerable, for you to be able to say this is what you've experienced, that in itself shows strength. Because as an African man, you're taught to keep it to yourself. You're taught to not have a voice. You're taught to abuse your woman if she doesn't listen to you. But you know that why is this wrong? It's not okay for me to be doing this. It's not okay for me to laugh at someone, because what if it is your daughter? Are you going to be laughing at your daughter for being a gender-based victim? Are you going to laugh at your daughter for being a rape victim? I think we all have to switch our mindset and challenge the system at any opportunity we can.
Yeah,
that's why we came up with.
Give me a quick second here. And I always go to this. At least in where you are, Uncle Char, and all the champion men in there, I think I'm not going to be tired to say, you have the principle. You are having these meetings. You are bringing these men and these women in the platform. And I know that you are doing there. But you are the heroes makers. And
Yes.
I say in Hope for Her Global is one woman more, one man more, one kid more, that we are teaching for the future. Hey, remember that we We are trying to change what thousands and thousands of years has been happening. And we are working towards to this to change. I am a believer, as we all know, and I know that that is the goal. And I know that we are going there. So even that things are still happening, we are in our way. We are not in the end, but we are in our way. And that is important. Sorry that I interrupted. Is somebody else in Uncle Charles' team that is for the champion men that are there that want to say something else?
Yes, there are two more who wants to say something.
Go ahead.
If I'm talking, I'm Samuel. Sometimes, you know, we found that this perpetrators, when they found that maybe the family is not informed, you find that because of the rape cases that has happened, they know very well that maybe the family doesn't know the procedures, because they know the procedure. It is you are not supposed to put clothes or you are not supposed to do the bathing or clean the victim. Since they know that the family's matter, they normally use the advantage. And another point, you find that maybe you don't know if such a matter has happened. You are supposed to go to the police. Sometimes you go to the police and you find that the perpetrators have already gone there. Maybe they tell you what you do, just wait. There's somebody who is supposed to help you to fill the form, the P3 form. Then maybe somebody is not informed, is not in a procedure to know what steps to take. Then it's found, you know, it becomes difficult. And then as the main champion, we normally try our level best. Maybe in families or in brothers, we normally try to talk to the community, to sensitize the people to know their rights. Thank you.
And that's why we are benefiting a lot from the lawyers. The other day, we were really blessed by having those lawyers educating us also. And in the future, I think we are going to partner with them so that when there are such like cases, they can help us. Last presenter is here.
I'm Bishop Isaac Kamunga, and I just want to concur with my sister who has just ended us a contribution, Sister Chancy. I wanted to comment by saying, when she talked of sanitizing the rural, we are right back interior in the rural main champion. And I wanted to refer to a scripture whereby I was reading yesterday. There was a man in the Bible known as Apollos. And this man was eloquent, he was competent in the scripture, was fervent in the spirit, and taught many people accurately. But when he met two women, these women listened to this man and they found he was at least not having full gospel truths. So they enlightened them, this Apollos, by informing, he only knew about John the Baptist. He had never known that Jesus had already come. So when the two ladies, Prisca and Aquila, they explained this man about the coming of Jesus who had already come. What happened was, the scripture, after realizing what had taken place, this man was informed. What am I saying? When you look into the book of Acts, chapter 18, verses 24 to 26, this man became now competent and spread the gospel fully. So my contribution is, when we are together, we can move forward and sensitize the rural, whereby our agenda is going to be driven to everybody. And that's my take.
We are through now. Just go on.
So everybody, somebody else is there?
Yeah, I think we are done.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the contribution. And it's important for us there. So today has been a really interesting day. I have a poll that I want you guys to answer. Is just to know better. I am trying different ways to be better and for us to have enough data that we can improve, because that is what we are trying every day, to be better and to help somebody else. And just to tell the people, is probably a difficult time. And we have to recognize that. It's a difficult time and we can react in a different way. And that is not bad. But knowing how I'm gonna react and have a plan for that reaction and know the tools, as Charlie was saying, it's a different tools, breathing, but we don't know how we're gonna react, because the problem sometimes with the gender-based violence is that you don't know that you are in that situation. Only until you arrive to that bad time, probably you start to know that something is happening, but because you saw that your dad hit your mom or your dad betrayed your mom, for you is the normal situation. Until you realize, or somebody help you to realize that that is not normal, that that is not good, and you start to try to withdraw yourself from that situation. That is when situations are going to get a little tough. And that is why we, more than anybody, has to be trained how to confront or how to train or to educate or to enlighten and have those tools for the people who is in a stress situation to be used. So it's focus in what that person is. It's not the ideal situation. It's a tough situation. And it's harder in a rural areas. It's sometimes harder as well in the cities, because we try not to recognize that we are in abuse situations. But the only way is that friend that we are talking. We cannot stop. As Maria was saying, it's not just 16 days that we have to work towards to end the gender-based violence. It's day to day, and we have to continue, and we cannot be tired. We are God's kids, and as brothers and sisters, we have to continue to fight. And that is my last. I don't know, Maria, do you have something else? I just want to...
Right, I do. Thank you so much. It's been very informative, and I kept hearing some of the challenges that are faced by the rural folks, and it holds a lot of truth, because that is the reality. But this is what I'm going to also encourage you. Yes, you may not have access to all the resources, but there's always a starting point. I hope that gives you hope. So what do I mean by that? Yes, you could say, Maria, arguably, we have talked about empowerment, we have raised awareness, but still it's not enough because some of the gaps we incur are to do with law enforcement, the way they treat the victims or those affected or impacted or assaulted, etc., where we are having that big challenge. This is where it is. But my question back to you is, do you think we have done enough to teach about self-defense in our communities? Have we sat in small groups and imparted knowledge regardless of our challenges? Because I want you to always look at your challenges not as obstacles. They should not stop you to doing something to better or uplift the community or elevate our community. It starts with dialoguing. When you connect with the community, let's go back to those round table discussions by the fire. Let's sit and utilize what we know, the power of story. Why are we coming back to the community to say, like what Chance said earlier, let's challenge the harmful norms. Let's challenge what has been normalized that is abnormal. It's not okay to take a woman by force. When she says no, it means no. Why is it important to teach about consent? We can start there. Let's start by teaching the very fundamental basics, because it is when we empower the community that they are going to respond. But we cannot say it's difficult, so we cannot cross over the bridge. Why don't we change that narrative and start imparting knowledge? Let's educate our communities. And we start off, like I said, from round table discussions. Our African table, it means we gather. I'm not talking of the literal tables. Let's create those spaces. I'm going to challenge the men champions. Let's have those small group conversations. Let's hear what the youth are saying. Let's hear what the men are saying. Let's hear what the women are saying. And then let's come together. If we're going to have a community self-defense workshop, let's do that. That's one way of elevating and teaching and empowering our community. And that does not need law enforcement. It just needs us to be able to go into the community. So let's start with the very simple things. Raising awareness, teaching our communities about consent, and the very creative safe space. Teach them self-defense mechanisms so that they are able to protect themselves when they get into situations where they may need to fight or flee, in this case, or run. You have to equip them with those tools. Then we cross the bridge of how do we engage law enforcement. Maybe we can invite law enforcement into our communities, and they can also give workshops or discussions. So it takes us as leadership, as animators, to go in and have the conversations with law enforcement and challenge law enforcement. Let's start small. It starts with the first step. And my challenge to you is by starting to raise awareness with the communities. Let's deliver. Let's share information. Let's start from there. Because we can talk about the limitations of law enforcement. That's a bigger one. It will take time until we get somewhere where we'll reach an agreement. But let's start with the fundamental basics, raising awareness, educating our communities on those three things: consent, and then creating safe spaces and giving them the tools. It's one thing to fish for them. You're not helping in that respect. But when you give them the tools to fish, then you have empowered the community. I hope that helps. I hope it removes what may seem to be challenges, and it gives you a hope that is sustainable.
Thank you, Maria. And I just want to end telling you what is for tomorrow. So we have day 11, and we are gonna end our day with this. So we're gonna talk about climate change and gender inequity and the disaster and conflict. It's a really interesting. We always have to be updated, and I invite you guys to be here, the same link, and in the same way we are gonna be here at the same time.
And Mamacita, thank you for highlighting on that. And climate change is real. And I want us to really understand that it's not just where we think, oh, it's climate, it's hot, it's cold, and it's okay, life is good. No, we are all impacted. Even if you have the tropical weather, that seems to be perfect, but we are all impacted. And it is a very important discussion. And tomorrow we actually have a workshop that is being presented based on research. So I want us to understand it is based on research. And why is climate change of great importance when it comes to sexual gender-based violence? I want you to go home and think about that. Why are we saying it's a double burden? Because we do see that women and children are heavily impacted by the changes that happen in climate. And I want us to sit with those thoughts for tomorrow, because those things are key to understanding why we come to say that, yes, climate is a cause of concern. Yes, we should be having those critical conversations. One way or the other, we need to understand that it does affect women and children. When there's drought, when there's no water, who does the walking those great long distances? What happens? Are women not in fear of their lives as they go to fetch water? When they have to walk 10 miles, yes, to get water. When they have to work in the fields, it's women and children. So it's not just where you think it's just about, are we planting seed and it's okay. If we really need you, even the women, how are we affecting the climate? How are we affecting deforestation? Yes, we need to cook. Yes, we do. But what are we doing? We are cutting and chopping trees. And how are we impacting the ecosystem itself? So there's so many things that in what we are doing sheerly to survive, it's being affected, but we're also not very safe as we try to make it happen for the families. So I just wanted to give just a little bit of a snippet of what tomorrow is all about and why it's important and why we need to start thinking seriously about climate. And as women, why are we looking at it as a double burden? Think about it. And tomorrow we'll carry on with the discussion. Like I said, everything is based on research. We're excited that Siddhant Modak, who is a University of Pretoria, he is willing to share his research. So as Hope for Her Global, we thrive on that. Research matters. Data matters. So it's not something, like I say, that we are talking just from Maria and Monica's heads, but it is research that was carried out. And who better to facilitate a woman expert in her own right, a leader. Basuda Modak is going to be carrying out that workshop tomorrow. And any questions that you may think about tonight and tomorrow, bring them, because she'll be happy to answer. And again, I want to also thank Siddhant Modak for saying yes to the call and saying yes for his research to be shared on our platform to help humanity overall. So thank you. And again, like Monica said, there's Hope for Her Global. This is one thing that we're really pushing: data, research, because we cannot do everything that we do without that research. So when we ask you to complete the polls, it's not that Maria and Monica love looking at the analytics after, but it really helps us. It will help Chance, who presented today. She gets feedback. It will help us. We get to know whether this discussion was helpful to you, or what would you recommend we do better. And Monica mentioned it earlier. We thrive to do better. So please help us. And we also ask one more thing. When we share the recordings, we have created that channel for you and many more. Let's share and let's subscribe so that we can carry on putting content for people. You are saying this is the art of digital. The world is evolving. So some people may not be able to catch us on Zoom, but they can catch everything that we've been doing through the YouTube channel. This channel is not for just Maria and Hope for Her Global, Monica and Hope for Her Global and Chance. No, it is for all. And what can we do? What is it that you can do? Monica gave us a goal. She said by end of December, she wants us to just reach 100 subscribers. And I said to her, Mamacita, no, let's push 500, maybe 1,000. And I said, yes, we can do it. She goes, but Maria, let's start with 100. And I said, in the power that we all have on this platform, if you invite 10 people, and you tell them they're your friends, they're your connections, they are your networks, and ask them to subscribe, because that's the way that's going to keep us going. You get 10 people. Do you realize right now in this room today, we would have had 100 if you and I do what we're supposed to do? So that's my ask, and that's my challenge. You all know 10 friends? You have 10 friends, 10 good friends who support you. And they can support you by watching the content you put on YouTube when you do these kind of presentations. They're going to help other people. They're going to take other people through the journey of learning, unlearning, and relearning. And they too will share. So it's an exchange of ideas, of knowledge, That's what we're doing with this channel. It's not just us setting it up because we want fame. No, but it is our way of sharing the knowledge, the information that you share with us, and we in turn are paying it forward. So that's all we are asking. We can do this. You and I have that responsibility. So you go on and shine the light on 10 people today and tell them, you know what, this is the way you can help me. You share with 10 people. Ask them to subscribe, like, and listen to the content during the 16 days, because our hope is to make 16 days all year round. That's the idea. So I'm sure you can do it. Maybe tomorrow Monica will wake up to the gift of 100 subscribers. Let's make Monica happy. That's the least we can do. So I'm urging you all to push 16 days. Every day should be 16 days against violence against women and girls, or any form of violence for that matter, not just gender-based violence, but any form of violence. Every single day should be activism. And the way we can do it is through spreading the word through our YouTube channel. You and I can do this. You are hope. If you can bring hope to one girl, one woman, one boy, one man, one community at a time, then our job is done. You are light. So thank you once again. Merci beaucoup. Gracias, mucho gracias. Asante sana, karibu. Majita yenyu, siyabonga. Danki. See you tomorrow. Hasta mañana.
Karibu
Mañana.
sana.